Action.
Action. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
How's it going?
It's going well. What's going on?
Nothing much. You guys see we have I Am That Money Coach with us today. We'll introduce him in a second. But first, I just want to know, just out of envy, what's the temperature like in Atlanta?
It is unlike Michigan, which is probably warm. It shows it is 63 degrees, but it's raining. So that's
spring.
That's chilly here.
That's like spring, Keela.
Yes.
And it's chilly. It's like spring.
I would love that.
So what's the temperature there?
37, and we're happy about it.
And that's summertime right there. That's
summertime. Yeah, we're enjoying it.
No coats on. The ice is melting out there. It's pretty good. Good.
No flight tickets to Detroit.
No.
Today it felt like an Indian summer for real.
Yeah.
What's an Indian summer?
So Indian summer is like in fall, where you go into fall and it would typically be like in the 60s, but you still getting summer weather.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we call it.
No tickets to Detroit right
now. We don't blame you. Not at all. So today's show, we're talking about finances, like all things finances with Tim. We're so excited to have him here. But before we get into our topic, I have a question. Okay, I may be slightly addicted to TV, and I just want to know, what do you guys binge watch? And maybe if you can't think of anything specific, but over time, or just like the last show you binge watched, and we'll get thumbs up to and advise someone else to watch it. Let Tim.
Okay. I'll let Tim go first since he's the guest.
Okay.
Well, since The Voice is over right now, I've been binge watching Succession and the reboot of Dexter. So Dexter New Blood has been kind of my thing in Succession. So yeah, that's kind of.
I've never seen Dexter.
Is Voice the one where they? No, I'm getting it mixed up. Which one do they wear a costume and you don't know who they are till the end?
The Mask.
Yeah, I don't watch that one.
Okay, The Voice. But Blake and
John Legend and
is that where Christina Aguilera was on that, right?
Yeah, at one point, but I think it was Ariana Grande this season and Kelly Clarkson. So
okay. What happened to Adam?
Oh, he left.
He did?
Yeah, Kelly is sitting in his seat.
Okay. And it seemed like Ariana would be kind of irritating, is she?
She's sweet.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She's so sweet. I don't know anything about her as an artist, but she seems very sweet on the show.
I like her as both. So
I think I'm thinking about her Nick and Kat voice.
She has voice. Her voice is amazing.
That voice was not
from the TV show Tim.
Yes, that voice was annoying, and that's not her voice.
Yeah.
So my show that I binge watched was Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay. If you like corny, you'll like it. But it was corny, and it's a updated version. Well, how am I gonna say, like a reboot,
like a spinoff, or
of Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid movie. And so it was pretty good. It's just a corny.
It is corny, so corny that I missed the ball dropping watching it. Okay,
I can't believe you did that.
It had just gotten good. My binge watch show is we just talked about this too, Dexter. So I'm on the middle of the last episode. I think it might be the last episode of New Blood, the one that just came. But I really truly enjoyed With Love on Amazon. That was pretty good. Okay. So someone just tuned in and said, what is this podcast about? We have Tim Arnold here, and we are going to talk about him being that money coach. That's right, Keila. It's all about the money. We're going to talk about saving, finances, how to get out of debt, what you should do if you have kids in college, so on and so forth. And you know what? We forgot to tell Tim this part, so you don't have to join in. But where are we going?
We're going all the way there. Yep, you didn't tell Tim that, but that's okay, Tim.
I like the tagline. Let's go.
We're gonna let you get in on this. Say it again, Tanya.
Okay, where are we going today?
All the way there.
Love it.
Where are we going today?
Love it.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, Keela. I don't like that picture. I was all down here with the blush.
Oh Lord. It is nothing we can do until some new pictures are taken.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So we
Don't look
gotta
at my
live with
blush.
it.
Don't look at my blush. Okay, so like this month, this month is January. Happy New Year, everyone. We are trying to do themes. And so this theme is like financing and like kicking off the new year, like new beginnings. And so we're trying to stick to the theme. And Tim is here to talk about finances. And we do not take it lightly that Tim is here because he's a busy man.
Mm.
You could be watching the Georgia Bulldogs. Do they have a game today? Because I don't.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Oh, so you could be
You
taking.
caught me on the right day. You caught me on the right day. I'm just
Okay. You could be like taking a nap. You could be doing anything. So we thank you for being here with us. So not only is Tim like the finance coach, I'm happy Keela put it up there because when I was doing the video promo, I think I went to like 5 takes before your guy kids were like, "Mom said right. He's a money coach. He's not the finance guy. He's not the money guy. He's the money coach." I'm like, okay.
I appreciate the God kids. I appreciate my God kids.
Oh my goodness.
And take 8.
I know, seriously, it was just that serious.
I appreciate my God kids.
But yeah, but Tim, you have a passion for helping people with their finances, and we're happy that you're here because now you're going to help our listeners and viewers with their finances as well. So I just want to start off with asking you, so what qualifies you to be the money coach?
What qualifies me? That's a good question. I mean, I think that's a question anybody can ask themselves about subjects that they, talk about. Well, first, my finance and accounting degree does not qualify me because I had a finance and accounting degree and was still like in debt and didn't have the principles down. Obviously, it started when, where I came from growing up. I grew up totally different, from where I am now. I grew up just culturally. You manage debt the best way you could, and if you couldn't, don't answer the phone.
Right.
If you answer the phone, it's just like one of those, like, "Hey, my mama said she ain't home right now."
Right.
It was just nothing to see, around me. People, managing debt. Bankruptcy was talked about. I knew more about Chapter 13 before I was 16. Just hearing about it, around me. Chapter 7, Chapter 11, whatever the bankruptcies are. You just hear about that. So, grew up with that, and because of it, made a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just remember, when I got married and we just weren't on the same page. I mean, she grew up totally different, where they didn't manage that. They just didn't deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember sitting in front of a finance coach, and she said, basically, you guys don't have a problem with money. You guys have a problem how you think together about money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of like an eye opener for me. And that began the journey, of me becoming a student of how to do things, what I feel like is a better way. Because there is what I call the world's way of how they look at finances, the way that people talk about all the time. And then I think there's a better and an optimal way where you can truly live, where money is not controlling you, but you're controlling money, that you're not, you're not waking up and going to work because MasterCard and Visa is waking you up every day
Right.
to go to work. And so, from that, just obviously us putting those principles into practice in our life, and getting out of debt and staying out of debt, paying things for cash, and then just passing that information along. I mean,
Right.
putting systems in place to work for you and actually seeing it work. So I hope that qualifies me. I'm still a student.
It does. It
Still a
does.
student, but
It does. So, I mean, did you like pick up on it through reading
No,
books,
no.
or just from everyday life, or from your wife, or church, or what? Like,
Um,
basically what I'm trying to say, like, what can ignite that passion in so many others that kind of ignited it in you?
yeah. So obviously, at home, with 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 the wife, it was staring you right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
The differences, and I just remember after we kind of started getting on the same page. So then, I started reading. Um, we started going to like Dave Ramsey,
Mm-hmm.
and not that I would just listen. I would devour his radio shows for the knowledge. I didn't really like how he talked to people, but
Right,
you
right.
know, but but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but the knowledge, I was like, man, this is so cool. And I mean, we would take trips and take 4-hour trips, and it'd be like the whole trip. It'd just be like me listening, me listening, me listening. We would continue to go and continue to go, and then he had this master coaching certification class, and so I actually got certified as a master coach. To help, fine tune my life and then information that I was passing along. So
So, okay, Tim. So you said Dave Ramsey. So one of the things I heard you say is that you pay everything in cash. You do cash for everything, basically. What would you say is the most important, though? Saving and getting out of debt, or can you do both of those at the same time?
both. I
Both
mean,
at the same
they're both equally important.
time.
You know, so kind of mentally, like I said, like this mentally draw like this picture or draw this circle, and that circle represents like the foundation of it's your financial foundation. That circle, how much you basically make in a month. And so everything, all of your obligations goes into that circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at all of your obligations, if all of your obligations start to come out of that circle, you have to do one or two things. You have to expand that circle by earning more, or you have to retract those expenses. But part of what goes in that circle that some people don't think about, they don't think that savings is an obligation.
Mm-hmm.
They know that paying lights and paying water, paying mortgage is an obligation, but no, savings is an obligation.
Yes.
If you have credit cards, that's an obligation to pay that debt off too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're obligated to pay that debt off, but you're also obligated to save.
Mm-hmm.
So they're equally important. I mean, obviously, the more you're able to get out of debt, the more you're able to save for other things. So,
But I don't know, but how can someone like save if they're living paycheck to paycheck? So would you advise someone getting like two jobs just to, I mean, what would you advise though? Because
yeah,
there are so many people, period, that are living paycheck to paycheck, or they have just enough money to get by. And it's like they're in a rut where they can't get a better job to get more money. Because you don't have time to get a better job to get more money, or maybe you don't have the education to get more money. So what would you say to those people?
yeah. So there are a couple of answers to that. But before I answer that, I want to kind of point out a couple of statistics that are really mind blowing statistics. To the points that you made, Tanya. So 78%. Now this is pre-pandemic. Um, this was like 2019 stats. But I don't know if it's gotten any better because of the pandemic. But 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah,
large
now, yeah. So if you've got 10 friends, if you look at 10 of your group of friends, and if everybody lose a job,
They can't make
somebody's
it.
gonna be taking care of 8 of them.
Right,
You know,
right.
and that's not counting like the ultra rich and all that other stuff, but that's irrespective of salary.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you make $50,000 or $150,000, 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 60% of Americans can't cover $1,000 emergency with cash.
Right. That's true.
40% can't cover a $400 cash emergency.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Um,
That's
so
something.
so that's startling. That's serious.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. I see people coming in on the chat. What's up, bro? What's up, sis? Um, so to answer your question, Tanya, about what can people do, you talk about, do you get an extra job? So there are a couple of ways. So first of all, it's a mindset. You have to first of all change your mindset, because you don't just get to a point where you don't just get to a point of hyperconsumption. That's a mindset.
Right, right.
So if you don't first change the mindset, you won't see the importance of why you need to save. You won't see the importance of why you need to get out of debt. Um, and so if you have to change your mindset and say, okay, and you have to say, what's my why? Why do I want to save? Why do I want to get out of debt? And then once you identify your why, then it might be, what, you might have to get a job that's paying more. Or I say, let's start with something that people don't like to use. Let's start with looking at a budget.
People, that's a curse word to a
I
lot.
know.
B word.
I want to call it this. I want to call. Let me rephrase and say a spending plan, but people don't want to look at that.
You like a budget?
I know, a budget. So let's write down your spending plan, because you can't, that's kind of like your roadmap. You have your why, but you don't. I mean, how are you going to get to the place of destination if you don't know where you're starting?
Right.
Because a lot of times, if we look at your budget, we can find areas where you can save. We can find areas where you can get out of debt, but you first have to write it all down. So there are several ways. A lot of it starts first with the mindset. Let me change the way I'm thinking. Why am I doing this? Am I trying to keep up with the Joneses? Am I trying to live like everybody else is living? Understand, you got to say, okay, I'm not living just for the day.
Right. That's the thing.
I'm
But a
living
lot
for
of people, that's what they do. A lot of people say, I work hard. Long as all my bills paid, I can go and spend this extra.
Yeah.
But what happens
with me?
What happens on the rainy day?
Mm-hmm.
So Tim could correct me. When I was making my plan to get out of debt, I started cutting back on, because getting another job for me was not an option. Yeah, I know. I work in the plant, and I was not trying to go to nobody else's job when I left work. So I started cutting back things that I felt like I didn't need, like the cable. That was the first to go. I did not go into a shopping mall for 2.5 years. When I say I mixed and matched everything in that closet, it took a lot of discipline. Like, some people are like, well, I don't know if I could do that. Well, you got to be able to do something, right?
Right.
Something, you got to give up something. So cable for me was $200 a month. I didn't watch it. My daughter literally watched one channel, Nickelodeon, whatever that was. And I'm like, you watch one channel, you can get these on DVDs or whatever. So that helped me. And then, like I said, I did not shop. Well, obviously, you have to shop for the kids because they're constantly growing. But for me, I didn't. And it was very difficult, but it still helped. So I guess I'm thinking some things, maybe cut back on something. Or how much do you eat out? Because a lot of people eat out all the time.
So Keela, you make some good points. I going back to that circle, that
Mhm.
foundation circle, part of the obligations, people think, oh, I need those 300 channels.
Yeah, they do.
I need the most expensive cell phone plan. And you made that part of your obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're outside that circle. And people say, you know what, I'd have this because I deserve it.
Yeah, I know people that say it.
And my thing is, or I have this because I work hard and I deserve it. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm never going to question anybody who says they work hard, because, everybody that says they work hard, they probably do. Mm-hmm. Everybody that says they deserve it, they may. Mm-hmm. It may not be the time.
Right.
Because just like you're building a house, that's your financial foundation. Mm-hmm. You're stacking things on top of a foundation that can't support you. Mm-hmm. So you might have to your point, you might not, getting another job might not be the option, but you might have to cut back on some things that cannot support the current foundation. If you can't expand that circle to make more money, then you have to figure out what goes on that foundation that can be supported.
Mhm.
A smaller cable bill,
Mhm.
eating out less. I remember when we started tracking our spending. I don't even remember how much we were eating. I mean, you
I
could
can answer that
pay a
question.
mortgage on eating out.
I
I
know.
can answer that
What
for
we were
you too.
doing. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously, dining out. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know that we make this as a joke. Well, between me and my friend, but my bills expenses. I'm just gonna say, let's say they're like, I'm just making up numbers because clearly it's nowhere near this. But let's say $400 a month is what I pay on bills, and then dining out is like $1,356, and you like what?
I
Yeah,
know. I
it's
know.
crazy.
And somebody said Starbucks too. That's another one.
Oh, yes.
You do
That's why I
everything now.
forever get that's why I always ask people for those for gift cards and spend other people's money.
Yeah, it's either Starbucks or like Beyond Juice for me. I just
Okay.
get myself a little juicer.
there,
'Cause, yeah,
there are so many. You got the Starbucks. You got the cable. You got the phone. You got the type of clothes that you feel like you need to wear. Um, you got it's what we do and see every single day that people make it seem like it's okay,
Mhm.
but they're stretched to the max.
Yep.
hmm
Yep.
You so swiping a credit card for everything. Living month to month on credit,
Literally, literally.
literally.
And that's stressful. So for somebody like me, because I grew up in a household where my mother, that's was her whole entire life. She's been in financial institutions since she's been, I want to say 17, and she's on a thread. She could correct me if I'm wrong, 16 or 17. And she actually retired in that. So
Mm.
we grew up, you do this, you do that, you pay this back. So my sister and I are very money conscious, but of course you get out on your own and you make a few mistakes on your own. But you have to correct them. So for me, I don't like owing people. Like
Mm.
I don't even want you to even ask me. I'm not owing you nothing. So you tell me it's this, I'm sending it straight to you, because I don't want you holding nothing over my head. But a lot of people do live on credit and they think that that's the American way. It's the American dream. Credit is the American dream.
hmm
Yeah. I mean, since this show is called All the Way There, I'm just gonna keep going all the way
Yeah,
there.
let's go all the way there.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, Stephanie, my wife, I mean, she was the kind that, hey, if a bill came in the house, it's getting paid and going out immediately.
Hmm.
Um, and I started off that way. Well, hey, hold up now, we can put some on this.
Right, right.
got five on it.
We can put some on. We can put some on this. You know what I'm saying?
You say I
Uh,
got five on
Five
it.
on it.
we can. I'm gonna put 5 on it this month, and I'm gonna put 10 on the next month. Um, and but to your point, Keela, it was the American way of managing debt, and we live in a society where society continues to perpetuate having debt, managing debt, building off of debt.
Yeah.
hmm
I mean, the country wants to stimulate the economy so that you can go and continue to spend.
Yeah.
hmm hmm
Come on.
I know. I'm not gonna
That's
tell
not
you how many people, when that stimulus check came out and they opened up Somerset. I'm telling you, just for us,
Yep.
just for us,
They did.
because there were so many of us going in there and coming out with those Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci.
Girl, that was actually
I'm
kind
like,
of
what
sad to
is
watch
going
that
on?
line at the Louis Vuitton with a
Yeah.
stimulus check.
hmm
It was sad.
really.
What is going on?
And it was on the news and it
Yeah.
was your cousins, Tim.
Yeah. They were here.
I believe you. I
They were
believe
at the
you.
mall.
I
They were
believe
at
you.
the
I
mall.
believe you. I say, I saw just, I remember back in Hurricane Katrina days and they were getting those stimulus packages. I mean, they were furnishing their house with 5 60-inch TVs back.
No, you don't.
See, and this is supposed to keep you afloat, necessities.
hmm
And then they're like, well, we could just come and eat at your house. And I'm like, no.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
cannot. I know.
mhm. Living for today, like I mentioned. living for today instead of thinking about tomorrow, instead of thinking about your future.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I'm sorry, I'm looking at Crystal's comment. She said that she will still have her iPhone 5 if Apple didn't say that they wouldn't service it anymore. Okay, I'm with Crystal. I had a Samsung, I can't even remember what it was, but I held on to that phone for forever. And I dropped it, and when you would pick it up to charge it, you would see like the rainbows float through it, but it was still working. I could still read my Kindle book on there. I'm like, I'm good. And my kids were like, Mom, you can't do this anymore. So I'm like, fine, I'm gonna get a new phone because I had to seriously like hold it to charge it because it was so jacked up, right? So I get up to go get a new phone, and it's like they the little ducks coming with me because they want to make sure.
You know what? That you got the right stuff.
Yes, I got the right phone. I'm like, this phone that I'm getting is helping you go to Country Day, helping you go to Brother Rice. Don't
Right.
phone. I don't need all of that for a phone. So with that being said, Tim, what would you say to like a younger generation? They're just like high schoolers or even going to college. Because when you step on the college campus, they passing out those
Yep.
credit card
Credit card
applications.
right on campus, right when you walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, well, first of all, I think there's a law now because back in our day, I think when you turn a certain age, that they just come in the mail, right?
Yeah, yeah, they still come.
Yeah, but I think there's a certain law that they're not even
Well,
supposed to solicit to you, if I'm not mistaken. I
my
have to,
daughter's been getting them.
okay, I have to look that up more, but I think there's a law that's supposed to be in place now. But don't let the world teach you about money.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, learn it if you can learn it from home. You know, parents like yourselves who are giving your kids instructions when they go on the campus. You just have to know that what, if you take out this credit card, if you get this credit card, that's an obligation. You're gonna have to pay that back,
Right.
and you have to like sit down and walk through scenarios. Like you're on campus, you're probably not working,
Exactly.
so who's gonna pay that?
So, but Tim, this is the catch-22 though, because in America, if you don't have credit, you can't be financed for anything. So then you get the credit. So you can pay the cash, but then you don't build the credit establishment. So then the next thing you go to, they say, hey, you don't really have anything showing me that you're capable of paying this. So we're going to have to deny you. And you like, okay, but cash is king, right? So we still need this track record. So how do people avoid that? Because I'm on here and I do have a credit card with a very low limit just for that reason, but
Yeah.
I don't use it because I'll put like $20 here and then go home and pay it off.
Mhm.
But what do people do for that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially the young, since Tanya brought that up.
Yeah. Great question, Keela. And I'll be the first to admit that, as I was coming out, of that old mindset, I was swinging to the far right,
Mm-hmm.
saying no credit, cash is every, blah, 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 all that other stuff. But to your point, in a society where you're just getting established, optimally, you want to work your way up to saying, cash is king for everything. But
Right.
that is a process.
It definitely
Um,
is.
so you have to go back to I would say establish that relationship with your kids. That if you're going to have a credit card, it needs to be maybe one. But you have to really teach them
Right.
what it means to be financially responsible.
Mm-hmm.
That if it comes in, that this is not a free for all.
Mm-hmm.
That it needs to be for maybe emergency,
Right. Exactly.
expenses only. And once you get it, you need to pay it off immediately.
Immediately. Right.
You do not need to carry this. And once they start establishing those habits, that obviously establishes their credit and all that other stuff. Again, they want to then get to a point where they are saying, I want to be able to get, um, I want to be able to graduate to a point where I'm not having to depend on on this card. I'm
Mhm.
also saving money to where I can lean on my money for to pay expenses. So
Right. That's good. That's good.
It's
Because they do need to know that.
yeah, I mean, you really have to hammer it. You have to hammer it home. It's a muscle. It's a muscle that needs to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it doesn't come by osmosis. Some people are just naturally that way. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people aren't. But at the end of the day, it's still a muscle that has to be exercised. And parents cannot, I'm not going to say cannot, but I would certainly encourage parents that to continue to stay involved in their kids' life on that level, even
Yeah,
if they are in
definitely.
college. Like, hey, you got credit card? What you doing with that?
Right.
You know,
Because I be on my daughter.
yeah.
But let me tell you a quick funny story. My daughter was in a car accident last year, earlier in the year. And she had some swollen knees, which prevented her from going to work right away. So we taught her how to save the $1,000 emergency fund, right? So she's at home. She's a teenager. She's 18. So she's like, I'm at home. I'm at home for the month. And so all of these Amazon packages are coming in. So I'm like, why are you ordering from Amazon? She's like, oh, I wanted to order this. I want to order that. I'm like, but you aren't working or whatever. She's like, yeah, but I got my $1,000 emergency fund. I said, it's an emergency fund, not Amazon, not
let's
for
talk about that
Amazon.
one. Yeah, let's talk about that one.
I said, so if you don't have any money coming in to pay, so your savings account is just depleting, right? So then she thought about it, and I was like, you can't still live like you have a job when you don't have a job. You got to relax a little bit. So she was like, oh, I didn't think about that. But see, those are the luxuries for still being at home, because if she was not at home, she would probably be thinking
Mhm.
different.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, the Amazon boxes. Yeah, she just went crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go, Angel. I can see that. That's funny. She's so cute.
And you know what? And you have to tell people, your kids. Let me tell you what an emergency is and what an emergency isn't.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
That is not an emergency.
Yeah. So tell someone is asking too, and just as before I move on to that, what someone is saying, that's a good way to stay in their business like that. That's how they develop a healthy relationship with money,
Mm-hmm.
by just being open about what you can and cannot do for them financially. And then when they go away, they have a better relationship. They kind of understand that, oh, you shouldn't be getting those Air Jordans all the time.
Right.
And it's funny because like 5 kids in the house, and I think maybe 3 of mine get it. And it may be like the whole God mommy birthday thing, but those twins are like, they're like
rigid.
watch somebody grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that about the twins. I don't know what it was, what year it was when they were talking about that business something. I was like,
Oh my
"Ooh,
goodness.
they're
Yeah.
gonna they got it already."
They are like, and you ask Tara for something, you are signing a contract.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame her.
Contracts.
I don't blame her.
Siblings. I'm like, dang, Tara, you cutthroat. She was like, well, cutthroat.
Hey, you know what? It's something to be said. Kevin Hart joked about this, but it's something to be said. Somebody asks you for some money, or somebody asks you, "Hey, can you go out?" There's something to be said about, you be like, "Hey, see the way my saving account is set up."
No, for real.
You got to be like that to see the way my accounts are set up. See, and you just gotta, and it, which equates to, I can't do that right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or you might have the money, but you don't have the money for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's always, it's even in the Bible, but like my mom always told me, if it's some money that you are expecting to get back, like you are not a financial institution. So if you are expecting this money back, you cannot afford to give it.
We have learned that, and we have a rule in our house. We don't lend money.
Right.
If somebody asks us for money, if it does not hurt our household,
right,
if it does not hurt us to give it to you,
mm-hmm.
then and if we feel led to give it to you, then we're going to give it to you. But if I lend it to you, then I better not see you in the store.
No, for real. Look, like that girl,
you giving me my money back.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so funny.
Exactly.
That's real though.
I'm gonna be hitting you up on Cash App with a request.
You do watch that, and I've never really been one for lending. But if somebody is really, really in the tight, because people do get in the tight, and look, I have glass here. I've never had to borrow from anybody, thank God. Well, my parents have helped me in situations, but what I'm saying is, I never had to have anybody scounding me down my back. But people that you do lend money to, and they love to post on Facebook, you be like, I know good and well you ain't about to go to Miami with my stuff, right, Crystal, or Vegas on Facebook. I know good and well you ain't going to Vegas, and you owe me $500, and then you had that person right under their post like, but my $100 though.
I'll meet you at the airport when you land from Vegas.
Exactly.
Turn into a loan shark. Like, look here. Someone is asking if you could give pointers on how to lay out a budget, because some people don't know how to do a budget. How do you lay it out?
Ooh, you know what? Hit me up on that at I am that money coach. I can certainly lay it out. But I mean, essentially, there are a lot of free budget forms online. But you want to be able to just lay out all of everything that you're spending. Ultimately, you want to get to like a zero-based budget to where every dollar is accounted for. Literally everything that you're spending. And typically, if I'm working with someone, and we start working on a budget, and based on the goals that they're trying to achieve, then we'll walk through. I have them do a budget the way that they feel like they want to do it, and then we'll walk through it and we'll find the gaps. Nice. If they're trying to save but they don't have on the budget that they're actually saving, then that's one gap. If they can't see where they can, if they show that they're in the red at the end, then there might be places on that budget to where you can tighten up to kind of get back in the black.
Really, because I don't like writing Dunkin' Donuts down on the budget. So sometimes I just
well, you know what, Keela? So to that point, so as part of being able to capture little small things like that, like eating out and all of that, we used to do this exercise where it would be like, for 2 weeks, try to track everything you're spending. Take a little notebook or whatever and try to, or maybe on your phone now, but everything that you're spending for like the next week or two, track it all. Whether it's buying clothes or eating out and all that other stuff, and then that'll help you kind of develop what probably needs to go into an overall budget.
Okay.
But tracking what you're spending to help build that budget, you can do it that way. So. And then obviously don't overlook anything. And sometimes we want to fudge.
Yeah.
But it's your budget.
I'm fudging. Do not put the steakhouse on there. Repeat. Do not put it on there. No, I'm just kidding.
You want to put part of your utilities. I don't want to put it right there. I'm already in the red, so I ain't gonna put this red there.
Oh, but what was the old method for paying bills? My dad cracked this joke one day, and he was like, back in the day, you just took your bills and you threw them up in the air, and whichever one landed first, that was the one that was gonna get paid.
It was like, yeah, that's how it went down.
Okay, but I have a question, because I know Tanya have a few other ones. What about for couples? One is an extremeness when it comes to saving, building the funds, IRAs, everything is in line. But the other one is an impulsive spender, like can't keep lint in their pocket. How do these go? Like they like, I got lint, I'll bring you back the dollar tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? How do these couples work together? Because that can cause a lot of friction and a lot of tension and a lot of arguments.
Yeah. Good question, Keela. So I'm going to start off and say that probably 90 to 95% of couples are that way.
Okay.
So don't, for couples that think, you're in this by yourself, one is typically the more conservative one. One is, typically the saver, and one is typically the free spirit, I call it.
Yeah.
I was the free spirit, and a lot of that came again from culture what I wasn't able to afford years ago, what I couldn't get, and all this other stuff. You get some money, you're like, man, I can go get this, go get that, all this other stuff. So there is a balance, but you both have to talk, and you both have to own that. You know what? This is who I am. I'm a saver. You're a spender. How can we work this thing together?
Mhm.
Because you don't want to be like, because if you start attacking one another, you can be like, well, you on the other end, I mean, we can't spend $5 without you tracking it, you know, and the other one, we can't have none because you spend it all.
Right.
So you don't want to do that. So you want to put you want to put a system in place.
Something all up in our business.
I know, right?
I'm all up in my business. I'm telling my business. Now, so you want to put a system in place to where, like that. I'm just going to tell you kind of what worked for us. We set up like we have our main accounts, and then we set up a his and her account to where we agreed on a certain amount of money that goes into his and her account every pay period. What you do with that is on you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's gone, it's gone, right?
Once it's gone, it's gone. So then I had to manage with my free spending self. I had to manage that, and then because we would look at our bank statements and it looked like a mini novel. Because we just swiping and swiping. We both have debit cards and we just swiping and swiping and swiping.
That thing is real though.
And my wife waking me up at 3:00 in the morning because she looking at the bank account and she trying to reconcile $5 here, $7 there.
That's all like stuff.
So we created a system where we have that, and then when we got on the cash envelope system, man, that saved us. I mean, that saved us. We agreed on this is how much we're gonna spend eating out. This is how much we're gonna agree on clothing. This is how much we're gonna agree on ABC XYZ. And every pay period, I would go to the bank and I would take that money out and I would put that cash in those envelopes, because there's a relationship with cash that's different than a relationship with swiping your card.
No, really, it really is. I tend to hold cash in my pocket a long time. I don't want to spend it that fast, but that card, I'm just like ching, ching, ching. But I'm gonna tell you, it's been $40 in my pocket for like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think twice.
You're
gonna think twice.
That's true. That is so true.
So you have to develop a system where neither party feels like constrained, because you both work hard, you both like what you like. So you have to develop a system that says, you know what, I get where you're coming from, where we do need to save, we have these financial goals we want to achieve. At the same time, I get that you like to do things. So let's create a system where we're continuing to move forward financially without, hog tying, each other. So you have to, but you have to have those talks. You have to have those talks.
And we did not get a chance, because now we're like on a 15-minute countdown. We didn't talk about retirement.
Okay.
That should also be part of it too, because people may have a position where their company, they don't put away for your retirement, so you're responsible for it on your own. And that's like an uncomfortable conversation, because people don't want to talk about getting old, but one day it's going to happen. So Tim, any quick words for that?
Yeah, do it. It's never too late. It's never too late to start. If your company has a retirement plan, jump in it. Some companies, because they recognize that people don't like to save for their retirement on their own, they are making their employees do it. If your company matches up to a certain percent, do the minimum, because if you're not, you're leaving free money on the table. If your company is matching you up to 6%, then the minimum you should be contributing is the 6%. Right. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table. If you get to, and as you are paying off your bills, once you get out of debt, then start increasing. I mean, my suggestion and recommendation is first get out of debt as much as you can. Try get out of debt, and once you get out of debt, then start increasing your savings for retirement. You know, once you get to 50, if you realize that you were paying debt off or you had not started saving for retirement early, obviously when you get to 50 and above, then you can start saving more. So then start saving more. Then there are other vehicles outside of your 401k or Roth 401k that companies have now. You know, there are IRAs and Roth IRAs. So I would say look into those as additional. If your company doesn't have a 401k, look into a Roth IRA or an IRA. Even if your company has a 401k, because there is a limit on how much you can contribute, if you want to have another vehicle, look into the IRA or Roth IRA.
Okay.
It's never too late to have your kids. When I talk about earlier about that muscle, you want to start having your kids develop that muscle earlier. As soon as they get a job at 18, open them up an IRA, a Roth IRA, start developing that muscle where they're putting money towards retirement early. The laziest way to become a millionaire, the laziest way, start at 18 and consistently put money in an IRA and don't touch it for 30 years.
That's a good idea.
That time and compound interest is the 10th wonder of the world. Interest on top of interest on top of interest. You go to sleep, you rise, you go to sleep, you rise, you go to sleep, you rise. And before you know it, that account will be at $1 million if you start early enough and contribute consistently.
Right.
I'm gonna have your godkids watch this. That's a good point. I like that. I never thought to have them start now when they're working. Because look, they came home fussing because the union at Kroger took money out.
Oh, girl. Angel fussed about taxes. She was like, "Oh, this just ain't fair."
Oh, wait, and Tia was like, "That's not fair because we can't even vote. I mean, I can't even vote. They want me to pay taxes."
Right, exactly.
I'm like, Tia. And look, and Kevin was on his way to the manager to say, "I don't need to be part of no union." I was like, "You don't want to do that, son."
Exactly.
But it was so funny. So I want to go all the way there within the 13 minutes that we do have. So, someone did ask this, and I want to know, tell me your thoughts on tithing. So if you're like living paycheck to paycheck, and now you brought up the analogy of like the circle. Is that something that you can set outside the circle until you pay off your debt or until you finish? Because I know that you're a man of God. Like, where do you draw the line? If my family got to eat, or I'm going to get 10%. We need lights, I'm going to get my 10%. Like, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
So here's the thing. So
And wait, tell everyone what a tithe is, just in case some people are listening and don't know.
Yeah. So the tithe, if you're into church and stuff like that, the tithe was considered giving 10% of your income back to the church. And so I'm just gonna, don't for I hope no ministers on here crucify me, but
I mean, let's go all the way there.
So I'm gonna go all the way there. So you have to understand that the tithe is the church has historically been taught to tithe as a law. That if you don't give, you're not blessed. My blessing is not tied to me giving or not giving. My blessing is tied to me believing that I'm blessed. So when I give out of an act of love. I don't give because if I don't, I'm going to get bad.
Tim, say that.
You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. You don't give, you get bad. No.
We not under that law no more.
No. You are blessed because you believe you're blessed. I live under a perpetual blessing.
Right.
I believe that. If you believe that you're cursed because you don't give, then you might not, whatever.
Right.
But I give because I am, again, because of as an act of my love. Now, if somebody says, "Well, you know what, man, I got this $1,000. All I have is $1,000. My rent is due. I got groceries, and then I got this tithe over here." I might slap you silly. Because your obligation is to your house.
Exactly. That house is first. That's
You
the
gotta,
first
you
house.
gotta, you better pay that rent and keep those lights on
Mm-hmm.
and put food in your kids' mouth. Because you do that and you tell your kid, the biggest way to turn your kids off from God, let them go hungry and without lights and say, "But I gave it to the church."
Right. You got that right.
Come on,
That's real.
come on.
Yeah.
So that's my short answer on that. Tanya.
And at the end of the day, if you have not heard from God, because those pastors, it's like Tim said, that is a true thing. If you don't give, you're gonna be cursed and blah blah blah. If you want more, but sometimes God really instructs you to give a sacrificial offering.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say that.
But
Yes,
you have to hear from God.
yes.
Right.
You know what? You better know that you better know that you better know.
You better know it.
Now again, a muscle. I'm never not going to give
Right.
because again, but my position of giving is, man, I've been blessed. Man, as my act of love back, I'm going to give.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my position.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want people to feel like that they are tied to a law that if I don't do it, then
I'm not blessed.
I'm not worthy,
Right. I like that.
or I'm cursed,
Mm-hmm. Or you're not gonna get anything.
or you're not going to get anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when your heart is pure, God knows that. That's what he sees, if anything. When your heart is pure, you got to take care of home first.
You do.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So Tanya, it's one last question real quick. I don't know if we got time.
Oh, we do, because that's a good question, because this leads us into if Tim wants to do this or not. But you said that you are willing to do like free consults, so that's what you usually do. Because what we did with Tim today is just basically just scratch the surface of all the knowledge and wisdom that this guy has in regards to being that money coach. So someone is asking, do you think people should have a financial advisor?
Yes.
If so, how do you find someone that you can trust?
Yeah. Good question.
Are you a
Um,
financial advisor, or are you just more like a?
well, so good, great question.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a series license, so I'm not going to give you financial advice on stocks and where to, I'm more of the coaching side. So I'm gonna give you strategies on saving and getting out of debt and retirement and thinking and positioning yourself. And then I'm gonna tell you, as part of that strategy, you do need to connect with somebody. I mean, we have our own financial advisors that are series licensed people that will make recommendations to us on how to align our money with the market for our retirement savings and so forth. But as part of our own knowledge about finances, we take everything that our financial advisors say and then we weigh it against what we know and what we understand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I certainly believe that everybody should have some type of connection with some type of reputable financial advisor, where look at their history. You know, get with financial advisors that are not. I'm gonna go all the way there for just a quick second.
Go
Go
ahead.
there. Go there.
Don't get with financial advisors. There are a lot of quote unquote sexy talk about things these days.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get with financial people that say that want you to get something real quick. Put your money here. That's not a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody anybody that's feeding you the magic weight loss pill
Mm-hmm.
for finances, that's not a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that has a history of showing where they have helped clients put money to grow over time, wealth built over time is what's enduring and what's
Mhm.
lasting. And when you can find somebody that has a history of that,
Mhm.
you know, also, yeah, align yourself maybe with the financial coach, or people that, you know, you are who you associate yourself with.
That's true.
You know, it- if you're the smartest person in the room, you might want to get you a new circle of friends.
Mhm.
If you're $1 million in debt and everybody looking up to you, that ain't no badge of honor. Get with somebody that's stretching you to do better in the
Yes,
realm of financial literacy. So
I like that.
I do too. So that was good parting words. It's been real. It's
It
been,
was.
I hope it helped a little bit.
oh
It
my
helped a
goodness.
lot.
Yes, I'm gonna make some kids sit down and watch this too. There's
Mhm.
some grown folks that need to watch it as well.
Definitely.
Did I answer all the questions in the chat time?
Yep.
Yeah, but don't believe that you're gonna be called back. Like, tell what you're doing next Sunday. Maybe we need to have you come back because this was really good. I
No,
feel like
good,
I've been edified and nourished through this whole entire talk that we've had.
good.
And it's a subject that just can't be talked about enough. You
No.
know what I'm saying? Because people are constantly evolving and it's always new people trying to figure out how to get myself out of this. So it's always good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Can we
thank
have
you
any
both.
parting words?
Well, first of all, thank you both so much for having me on. Thank you so much for what you're doing and getting information out to the masses. Um, I certainly encourage everyone, anyone that wants to, get from where you are currently financially. You might not be in a bad place, but you just want to be in a better
A
place.
better place. Right?
Mhm.
I am your biggest cheerleader. Again, I know where I came from.
Mhm.
I know where I came from. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it's never too late to start saving. It's never too late to get out of debt. Just you can do it.
And we had our vision board party last week, Tim. So you can put get out of debt on your vision board.
Mm-hmm.
And let's work there. But my parting words are one thing I have noticed on both shows. So we had the weight loss coach at the end of December, and then we have Tim here, and both of them specifically said track your weight, what you eat,
Mm-hmm.
track what you spend. So clearly, this is a method that works. So those are my parting words. Track what you're doing so you can keep your eyes focused on your goals and purpose. That's all.
Can I add one last thing to that, Keela?
Yes.
Smart, SMART, with financial goals. You want to have specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time sensitive goals in terms of trying to save money or get out of debt.
Mhm.
So make your goals specific. Make them measurable, make them achievable, make them relevant to you. Don't try to achieve somebody else's financial goals.
Okay,
Achieve your own.
Yeah.
got it.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Challenge for this week. Watch this video. If you didn't get enough, watch it. And check out Tim on Instagram at I am that money coach. He is there to coach. He is there to help. Willing to help you, give you a free consultation, right? Because like I said, this is basically probably the free consultation because we hit on so much here. But if there's something specific that you want to talk to him about, please look him up. I am that money coach. Talk to him
And share the podcast.
yes, share the
Share it.
podcast.
And everybody have an awesome week.
Yes,
Thank
be
you all
safe,
so much.
be warm.
Y'all stay warm in
Bye.
this.